It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Thanks for waking up with Wesley. This CGIF, we're going to take a look at the forecast into the upcoming weekend, plus a peek at the tropics. And, there will be some chance for rain as we get into the upcoming weekend. So we'll take a look at some of the latest computer models as the data continues to come in, and take a look at how much rain we could be possibly getting into over the next 3 days. Now, this is a look at 4 different computer models trying to get that information on the bottom right to load. It was loaded a moment ago, but now it's must be coming in with another run, so maybe we'll have to revisit this graphic a little later on. Either way, though, the general idea is between now and the end of Sunday, many places seeing that green-blue color indicating rain amounts not getting too terribly heavy. You don't see like a huge splash of purple and red and orange everywhere. It's mostly blue and green, indicating rain amounts mostly lower than 1 inch. So that's good news for the next 3 days, as that means we won't have to worry about a complete washout for the upcoming weekend. There will still be some rain, but there will also be some rain-free hours, like this morning when we got that amazing sunrise view over Biloxi. That's the time lapse that you're looking at there from the Beau Rivage cam in the downtown area, and there was just a stunning view to start the day there. Of course, this is going to probably be the case for the next few days as well, in which we see the kind of nice rain-free weather in the morning, and then maybe transition to some of those pop-up storms heading into the PM hours. So let's see. As far as the forecast for today is concerned, Friday in South Mississippi looks like pretty nice morning, but then those chances for rain increasing. So you might want an umbrella nearby so that you're not caught off guard by some of those pop-up showers and storms. Temperatures will make a run for the lower 90s today, and that is not as hot as it was a few days ago, since we actually did have the hottest day of the year just a couple of days ago. In Gulfport, Biloxi, they hit 94 degrees. Today, probably not going to have the 94 anywhere in our 6 southernmost counties. We see temperatures a bit closer to normal for this time of year, thinking upper 80s and lower 90s. Heat index, that could get up to about 100, but that's not terrible for late June. We've seen worse heat index. Just a couple of days ago, had a heat index over 108. So it's not too shabby of a forecast for your Friday. Here's what we're tracking, though. Today, hot with scattered storms, but the heat is not as much as it was a little earlier this week, as that heat dome pattern begins to break. And that could open the door for a wetter pattern into parts of next week. I'm not completely sold on the setup for it, though. But we're going to be watching an upper low located to our east. I'm going to pause this right here because what you're looking at is the rain forecast over the next 7 days. And as you take a look at the screen there, you see this map showing a bullseye of heavy rain on the map in areas that are from Florida to Mississippi. So, that would be unfortunate if we got ourselves into that bullseye of heavy rain, considering that will be more than 3, maybe more than 4 inches of rain. But I think the Weather Prediction Center has that bullseye a little too far west. I think it's going to wind up east of our Mississippi coast, because I'll explain why in a moment. But this is a look at the breakdown. This will show you the breakdown over the next 7 days. And you'll notice the green color showing up for Friday and Saturday and Sunday in South Mississippi. But then you start to see the blue and purple color showing up over parts of South Mississippi heading into next Monday, Tuesday, next Wednesday, Thursday. So that could be a time frame that could be on the wetter side, but not a complete washout, right? It's, like I said, it's not red, it's not orange or yellow. The thinking here is that there is going to be this upper low located to our east. It's already there. And if I zoom our futurecast map out just a smidge, you'll bear with me while I do that, we basically have an upper low located somewhere in this general vicinity today. And it's going to hang out east of us. But remember, and we talk about this all the time during hurricane season, when you have low pressure, the circulation around it is counterclockwise. And you might recall when tropical systems like hurricanes make landfall in Florida and stay east of us, what's Mississippi's weather like? It's usually kind of dry and sunny because we are on the left side, the west side, the drier side of a low. Even a hurricane is a low pressure system, and if we find ourselves on the western side of that, that's what often happens. Florida can get a hurricane and Mississippi gets sunshine. Now it's the exact opposite of that if we are on the other side of it, right? If Texas is getting a hurricane or a tropical system, Mississippi's on the right side of that, and the right side or the east side of a low on the Gulf Coast is typically the wet side. It's all because of the circulation, right? As you can see, this scenario in which the low is east of us, which is totally what's going to happen, where we are, that means the winds are going to come in from the north. That is not a wet wind. That is a dry wind. So I'm skeptical. Where's the source region of the moisture from this low? How is this low going to get us wetter weather? I think that because it's going to be pulling in air from the north, a generally drier direction of wind for Mississippi's coast, I think that it's not going to be a total washout for us. And I think that we are going to see some breaks in the rain each day, today into the weekend. And so there will be enough rain-free hours that I don't think you'll have to cancel your plans. Now, it'd be a totally different thing if the scenario were different, and instead of the low being east of us, we instead had a scenario in which the low were off to our west. Because that, look at the way the arrows are going around that, right? That would be wind coming in for us from the Gulf. That's a wet wind. That would make for a much wetter forecast. Our rain chances would probably be around 80 or 90%. But that's not what's happening here. So I just wanted to kind of put that out front that, yes, I think you'll hear a lot of meteorologists talking about this upper low causing wetter weather, but I think there still is a silver lining for Mississippi's coast as we're going to be to the west of that. So that means with the low not really being the dominant feature for helping us to see more rain, what's going to cause rain? And it will be the same thing that typically causes rain on a given summer day in South Mississippi, the sea breeze. So as that sea breeze front generates near the coast this afternoon, really from late morning into the afternoon, that's what's going to help to pop some of those showers and storms. As they get going, they first develop near the coast, and then they get on the move and they begin to move toward the north as they are carried northward by that daily sea breeze. So as we put this into motion, you can see some of them getting north of our coast the later we go into the PM hours. And this is going to rinse and repeat each day. Saturday morning, looks like there's sunshine along the coast. Saturday midday, you're seeing some of those bubble up storms. And Saturday late PM, you're seeing them dissipating, slowly kind of drifting off toward the north. I will say some of these storms are going to really kind of be dealing with competing steering, because the sea breeze along the surface, the sea breeze is a very low level steering mechanism. You know, the atmosphere has verticality to it. The sea breeze is something that steers at the very lower levels. And that's going to be coming in from the south. That's actually the winds you see there. You're looking at surface winds. Those are coming in from the south. But remember, there is an upper level low located off to our east. Now, we're not going to see the winds from that on this map, but I'm going to draw them manually for you. And remember, with that being off to our east, it's going to be a wind upstairs in the air coming in from the north. So with that kind of competing steering, that could make for some of the storms that form over the weekend maybe they don't move much. They might have erratic movement or slow movement, which means if you get caught underneath one of the downpours, you know, it could pile up some heavy rain in one location in a short amount of time. Slow movers. Here's Sunday, another morning with some sunshine, and then another day that features more of those pop-up storms, especially from midday into the PM. And you can see that slow, erratic movement there with the competing steering across the region. The general thinking is that at some point deeper into next week, maybe our pattern turns wetter, but I still think that it's not looking like a total washout, and I think there will be breaks between the rain because of the placement of the low off to our east, which should limit our washout potential. So expecting typical summer storm coverage, maybe slightly above typical summer storm coverage heading into next week. All right, last thing we'll do is a real quick check on the tropics before we go. You may have heard that the National Hurricane Center is watching for tropical development not too far from home. And the next available name on the list of names for 2025 is Barry. So you can see that B-named storm there, the storm name at least. So where are they watching? Are they watching way out in the Atlantic? No. Are they watching in the Gulf right now? No. But they are watching someplace in the West Caribbean as of Friday morning. And I'm pretty sure, we'll double check, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, they still have it as a low chance for development, at least as of 8 in the morning on Friday. Those chances go up and down. They update them multiple times a day. The next update will come in around 1 p.m., I believe. Since we're on daylight time right now, the updates are 7 a.m., 1 p.m., 7 p.m., 1 a.m., every 6 hours, every day. That's when they update their tropical weather outlook. And that will be that time frame in which you could find that development chance going up or going down. At this point in time, what we have there is nothing too terribly organized. I can see it is being, it's an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some upper wind shear is being imparted on it. Looks like it is coming in from the west, some westerly wind shear. You can see because that's kind of the direction that those cloud tops are being blown towards. So that wind shear, one limiting factor against its development. There's another limiting factor against its development. It's because it's too close to land. And if a wind circulation wants to become better defined and closed off, it needs elbow room. If a system is all up against the coast here, like you see in Central America, it won't be able to get that wind circulation better defined because of its proximity to land and that friction of the wind over the land kind of getting in the way of the winds. So a couple of features that are limiting development there. However, supporting development is the fact that the water temperatures are certainly warm enough. The waters are well above 80 degrees in the West Caribbean. And the thinking is that as this continues to move off toward the west, it is going to move inland over portions of Mexico, but then it will reemerge into the Bay of Campeche. Here's a look at our computer modeling indicating that exact scenario. So today, very close to the Central American continent, and then you can see by Saturday reemerging over warm waters. And at that point in time, especially because of the bowl shape of the bay, you know, this is shaped in a bowl fashion, that can sometimes help those storms to really get their circulations going when they're sitting in the Bay of Campeche. It's a very easy place for a system to develop. The curvature of the coast almost helps the wind circulation to get going more easily. So you'll lose that proximity to land somewhat, that limiting factor, and you'll kind of gain this curvature of the coast helping. And I think that will be the one time that this thing has a shot at becoming a depression or storm. So maybe we'll see that development chance increase on Saturday as a result. Of course, that's if the circulation even survives its trek across the Yucatan Peninsula. Sometimes the higher terrain and the mountains on the Yucatan can do a number on the circulations and break them apart, rip them apart, and they're just kind of a ghost of their former selves as they reemerge on the other side of the peninsula. Now, we go one more day in the future, Sunday. This computer model does not really explicitly show a storm forming. It barely shows a depression forming. It looks like the circulation's never really able to completely close off. And it's only a short window of time to do it because it's going to get shoved right into Mexico come Sunday. And once it's inland, that's it. Storms don't typically develop over land. It's happened in the past, but storms typically, especially over Mexico, they typically don't develop over land. So that will pretty much close that window, that short window of time that it has this weekend to try to become a depression or storm. As you saw, there's no concern for this to come anywhere into the northern Gulf where we are. So even though we are tracking the possibility of tropical development in portions of the southern Gulf, this right now has no expectation to come up here where we are in the northern Gulf. So that's good news there. But Barry would be that next available name on the list should this particular disturbance actually develop and take that name. Well, that'll pretty much do it for this Friday's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you again on the next video. Take care, everyone.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.